Grateful to you for inviting me here today. It's a real privilege to come. It's a very easy journey up from London. Just clamber on the train and sit there and enjoy yourself. It's no problem at all. And, actually, I've got a friend who lives in West Auckland, so I was able to spend time with him this afternoon. And I should be rushing back tomorrow morning for the rally outside Theresa May's house outside Downing Street. So we'll have some things to say to her. Any of you here? Were any of you here for down there for the Brexit Betrayed rally before Christmas? It was a good time then, but we're going to have even better tomorrow. We're going to tell her a few things. That's the idea. So I look forward to seeing you down there. I'm not going to talk about Brexit. I sorely tempted to talk about Brexit. I really want to let off steam. I think we've been stabbed in the back, kicked in the sits and all the rest by the political class. All of us, the whole lot, all the politicians, the whole of those House of Commons, House of Lords, a lot of them. They asked us what we wanted to do, and we told them we want to leave, and they've done their very best. All of them, not just Theresa May, a lot of them. They've done their very best to make sure that we don't leave and thwart it. And they've killing off our democracy, and they simply couldn't care. They simply couldn't care. And I'm talking about the people inside Parliament, talking about people like Gina Miller, people like Tony Blair, a lot of them. They simply couldn't care. And even those who we looked to and hoped for, one or two in the Tory party, like Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg, they just rolled over as well. Not a one of them.
Jacob Rees-Mogg's just admitted that he's willing to support the deal, which is going to slave us out.
So it leaves what? Leaves UKIP, that's you and me. And from now on, from tomorrow, starts the fight back. We got the referendum, we won the referendum, and then the elite, the political elite, the people all inside the Westminster bubble have stopped it. They've stabbed us in the back, they've kicked us where it hurts, and they've effectively stopped Brexit. So we start again. And I'm pleased to say that things are looking much better for UKIP. You know, we were in a very bad position a year ago, just over a year ago. Just before Gerard took over, we almost went bankrupt and we were languishing on about 2% in the polls. But the membership is now up. We've gone up from 17,000 to 28,000, just under 28,000. Last week or the week before, I'm not sure which, we put on 700 new members in 1 week. And the finances are looking good, and we're beginning to creep up in the opinion polls. We're now, the latest poll I've seen is we're at 9%, ahead of the Lib Dems. I know that doesn't mean much, but there has been a time when the Lib Dems were ahead of us when we were going through our real bad time. But people, you'll know here, people are beginning to join. People are coming back into UKIP. They realise how we have been betrayed. And now we need to start the fight back. But I don't want to talk about Brexit tonight, partly because my responsibility is families and children, and I think the reason why you asked me to come was to talk about the rape gang, the grooming gang issue, and I do want to talk about that. But I want to talk about one or two other issues as well, related to my portfolio that I have of families and children, specifically talk about it, partly because once we're through this particular difficult phase, and UKIP starts the fight back to get a real Brexit, because whatever happens now, we're not going to get a real Brexit, we all know that. So the fight back starts, and we go back all over again, and we rebuild UKIP, and we start the fight for it. We will do so as a broader party. We're not a one-issue party, but we want to be a broader party. We want to be the only anti-establishment party, okay? Yes. The only one that will stand against the whole political establishment. Tory, Labour, Lib Dem, Green, the lot of them, the whole lot. We'll stand against them. We are for the British people, we are for the people, and that lot up there that have betrayed us, we're after them. And so we're UKIP. So we need to have a broader portfolio of what we're doing to talk about. So we'll be the anti-establishment party, the free speech party, and we'll be for all those who consider they have now been made by the politicians. We've been made second-class citizens in our own country. Yes. If you feel like that, UKIP's for you. And I know there are there are millions of people, like normal Brits, normal English people like you and me, feel that the political class have made us second-class citizens in our own country. And but certainly, this is what Gerald would like. He wants us to be a genuine populist party, anti-establishment party, for those who believe in free speech. We won't be told what we're going to think and say. We're going to tell them what we're going to think and say. And so the whole thing about free speech and hate speech and all that sort of thing, we're going to stand, if necessary, stand alone. And the fight back starts. And the fight back starts tomorrow, 29th of May, when we should have been coming out. And whatever happens, we won't be coming out. And so that's what it is. What I want to talk about tonight, if I may, is I want to talk about two general things and three specific topics. I want to talk about state-sponsored child abuse. State-sponsored child abuse, okay, I'm interested in children. And then I want to talk about state-protected child abuse. Now, the state-protected child abuse is the rape gangs. And I'll be talking a bit more about that, but the rape gangs have got away with it for decades because the local authorities, the state in other words, wasn't willing to do anything about it. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes' time. And you've got the leaflet in front of you that I've brought up with me as well. But the state-sponsored child abuse, there are two general areas I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about the sexualisation of our primary school age prepubescent children, okay? And I'm going to talk a bit about the school in Birmingham where a lot of parents, predominantly Muslim, have taken their children out of school because of that. Yeah, and then I want to talk about the whole transgender agenda that's being again imposed on our children in the primary school. So those two areas, and I call those state-sponsored child abuse, okay, because the state is doing it, okay? It's using all sorts of agents to do so, but it's doing it to our primary school age children. So that's what I want to talk about, if I may. And before I start, I just want to say on these two areas, firstly, whenever I talk about this sort of issue, I'm immediately accused of being homophobic and a bigot and the whole lot, the whole gamut. And I've been called all sorts of things in the past before that. In fact, one of my most famous things was during the whole gay marriage debate. I opposed gay marriage quite strongly, and Stonewall, the LGBT activist organisation, nominated me as Bigot of the Year. Well, that's a badge of honour.
Badge of honour.
A badge of honour. Well, I really thought it was. So they had some glitzy dinner going on in the Victoria and Albert Museum where everybody comes out and John and all the rest of it. So I phoned them up. And I said, can I come to the dinner? Because if I win, I want to give a speech. Like that. But they said, no, I couldn't come. In fact, I didn't win. I'm quite disappointed. But I just want to tell you this, okay, just in case any of you... I don't mind who people go to bed with. It's entirely your business, okay? It's not my business. You go to bed with one man, three women, whatever. It's none of my business, okay? So I'm simply not homophobic in the sense they mean it. However, I do have views when gay activists begin to stick their values and their agenda on our kids. And that's what I want to talk about, okay? But also similarly, the whole thing about the whole transgender agenda that's going on at the moment. I'm quite clear in my mind that we need to have genuine concern and care for that minuscule percentage of the population. I think we're talking about something like 0.005% of the population who genuinely wonder who they are and where they are, and it's known as gender dysphoria. It clearly is an mental and emotional illness, but they deserve our care, our concern, and the full facilities of the National Health Service to help them while they go through it. It's a very similar thing to anorexia, very similar sort of thing. Maybe some of you had anorexia, people in your own family. It's a similar sort of mental illness where you're deluded about what you are and who you are and so on. So I'd just like to express that, okay? Before we start. So those is really important. But can we turn now just to the primary schools and the whole thing about this thing that's really bugging me about the sexualisation of our primary school kids. And what are two words and expressions I use? There's an adult group here, okay, so I use them, please don't be offended because there are no children here, but it does sometimes have to get a bit graphic here. I personally, and not everybody in UKIP agrees with me, but I personally support the parents of Parkfield Community School in Birmingham and the other schools it's happening to, and the parents are taking them out. I believe there's 5 schools in Manchester I read the other day, they've withdrawn their children as well. What they're objecting to is a programme that has been instituted by the deputy head of Parkfield Primary School called Andrew Moffat, and he designed something called Challenging Homophobia in Primary Schools, CHIPS, C-H-I-P-S, Challenging Homophobia in Primary Schools, like there is homophobia in primary school. We're talking about kids up to the age of 10, prepubescent kids, okay? But he had this programme, he's the national founder of this whole movement, he happens to be at Parkfield Primary School. Well, challenging homophobia, none of us like bullying, okay? Their argument is we want to stop bullying of gay kids in primary schools. Well, even if there are kids who are gay in primary school, even if there are kids who are gay, the bit far bigger bullying is what's known as appearance bullying. Okay, you've got a long nose, you've got red hair, you're too tall. You know, the sort of thing that kids shout at each other in a primary. That's where, if there is bullying, that's what takes place. There's nothing specific about homophobic bullying in a primary school, if you find it there, except it's a way whereby gay activists like Stonewall and so on can get into primary school kids and start talking to them about it. And that's really where we've got to. That's really what it is. That's what goes on. It's a cover for introducing our kids to homosexuality. And they say, oh, it's just about relationships. But really what we want to do is we want our children to understand that there may be children in that school. We live in the 21st century in diverse families, and there may be some children in that school who have two mummies or two daddies or something like that. And therefore we want them. It is nothing of the sort. It's just the same smoke screen, and the word is on the tin. They want to talk to them about homosexuality. Okay, that's what they're doing. That's what they're talking to our kids about. That's what they're introducing them. I've seen the program. The CHIPS program, and they have nice cartoon books. And one's called King and King, about you may have heard about a prince. Okay, and he's looking around. He decides he's going to get married. He decides he doesn't like girls, so he marries another boy. Okay, and that's what the book is about. Another one called My Princess Boy, about a boy who wants to be a girl, and so on. This is what the CHIPS program is about. And it is quite clearly introducing our children to homosexuality and indeed introducing them to the whole concept of sex. That's what it's doing. And it is no wonder that the parents have withdrawn their children